This is my wife's 95 Jeep Grand Cherokee ZJ. Last week she comes home, the door tore up like this. She's like, my door won't close. What do you mean your door won't close? And this is what I see. It's got a rip in here. And I mean, this piece of steel is completely torn out. So we contact a friend of mine, ask him to find us a welder. He's like, I don't know if it can be saved. We can get you a new door. I mean, but look at this. And it's dirty right now, but that paint is beautiful. We don't want a mismatched door on this car if we can help it. So I go online. I'm like, huh, no one's ever done this to a door before. Well, I was wrong. People have done a bunch of times. So what happens is this door has that sag from the bad bushing. We'd had that fixed 3 years ago. The door completely came off the hinge originally. And apparently what happens is that when you keep closing this, the latch hits wrong, and it just yanks on it and yanks on it until it rips this steel. Look at, I mean, and this is like a brand new rip. You can look, there's like no rust in here at all. It's crazy. But so I go online and I find a guy, I'll try and put the link down below, who says you can fix it with 2 big ass washers. He's not wrong. I had a similar idea of like making a piece of metal here that'll hold it in and then just using this piece. And all of that seems like a really good idea, but then we went on, I searched around a little bit more and found out this actually happens a lot, and someone makes the parts for it. And I'm going to show you that part. It comes with some instructions and some other stuff, and we'll see if we can get this done right. So we ordered our kit off Amazon, and it came with a plate and some new connectors, which when you read the additional notes you find out are a little bit thicker than the old ones, which is one of the reasons I ordered this kit. It also has these little holes for actually mounting it to the door, which I'm going to need because this part of my door is all tore up. So otherwise it would just have the latch sandwiched between the aluminum and the old steel door. The instructions seem pretty straightforward and well explained. We'll see how that goes. The one thing I am kind of worried about is the self-tapping screws. That's the size of the hole, and I don't know if I have a bit that small. Ironically enough, the guy who originally fixed my door with the saggy hinge also used a bunch of my drill bits up to do it, and the hinge is still saggy enough that it tore apart, and I think my smallest drill bits are all tore up. But like, this even tells you what size Torx bit the originals are. I used Allen wrenches to get them out the first time. You could probably get away with that, but we'll see how this T30 head works. So I did step one. My wife's getting ahead of me. So here was my first problem that the instructions don't take into account. Because the instructions, like, if you buy this piece before this happens, you could use this as a reinforcement piece. They use a perfectly good door. With this piece torn completely out, removing this top screw, which takes a T30 Torx, by the way, this top bolt, caused this to want to fall. So I put my finger in the latch, took it out, had my wife bring me the newer bolt and put that in. And now we leave this loose so that we have some adjustment space here as we put the rest of the parts on. And I'm assuming we're going to want these holes to line up as best as possible. Yeah, see, it's got every hole cut out, so they should line up well. We'll be back in just a second. If you can see, this is the original bolt, and this is the one that comes with the kit. Now you can get this cheaper on like eBay, just the plate for like $10. I wanted the ones with the drilled in holes because I knew my door was damaged enough that I'm going to need to be able to mount this to the door. It's also, I did a template of it, so I won't have to wait if this happens again, or if a friend of mine needs one, I can cut one out of steel while we wait for this to come. I would definitely suggest getting the properly cut one. But this is, if you look, just about 1/4 of an inch longer. And that's what I want. I want it to be able to go through here and still have the same fastening on the latch. So this kit was definitely worth the extra money. My wife's also spent extra money to get it here quickly. I don't know if that was worth extra money, but it's worth it to us because we need the truck today. And I still took the time to make this video because it's this or 2 big ass washers. So I'm going to try and get those other 2 in, and then we'll see how these self-tapping screws go. So the top one goes in loose so you can swing this around. And then I'm going to put these in at different stages, but you have to make sure it's pulling the latch toward the door also. You're basically making a sandwich out of the door at this point. The instructions do warn you to hammer out any of these parts that are sticking out too much, because this is going to need to be flush. It's 1/4 of an inch thicker, or I'm sorry, an eighth of an inch thicker than the original door now, so it needs to be able to slide in there. The other thing it tells you, theyese are self-threading. They're a little thicker than the original. They're not just a little longer, they're a little thicker. So if for some reason they get too hard to put in before they're all the way in, back up a little and go in again so you don't mess up the threads in this little latch inside. This hole on the plate is a little larger than this hole here. When I put my finger in, I don't feel anything sticking out from the old door. So this looks like it's lined up okay. These were a little tough to roll in, these bottom two, but once you got to a certain point, they just flowed right in. And we're going to go ahead and do the top. And you will feel feedback and tension more than the other one. Which if you're scared of stripping plastic, like I was, might feel like excessive force, but if I don't need a wrench to turn these, you know, if I don't need to grab the screwdriver with a wrench and I'm not using a socket, it's probably okay. And see, and then these last few turns get real easy. We're going to put that in as tight as we can. And my sincerest hope is that these extra little pilot holes here are for longevity and stability, because I want to test this latch a bunch of times before I fasten it in there. We're going to give these another half a turn, quarter turn, whatever they'll do easily. And here we go. All right, let's see. That looks like a good one. That's good. We can do one more. All right.